Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Emily and my channel is all about memory keeping. So be sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss my memory keeping videos. Today's layout is going to be using the Ali Edwards Numbers Quarterly Scrapbook Kit. I have a layout in mind that's very text based. And so basically my idea is to make little accordions out of these plastic numbers and then put text next to it. I have not done something exactly like this before, so I hope it will work, but we're going to start over at my computer. So we are looking at a Photoshop page here that I set up, and I measured a little bit smaller than the plastic squares. So I have a bunch of frames that are measured at 3.5 centimeters by 4.8 centimeters. And I have a bunch of photos that correspond with all of these things that we did this summer that relate to our travel. So I'm going to start out by printing this out. And here is what it looks like printed. And I just wanted to double check that it was the right size and that these frames fit underneath the squares, and it is. So my thought was I left a tiny bit of space in between each of these photos, and my plan was to just cut them into strips, score them, and then turn them into accordions by themselves. But I quickly realized that the photo paper was going to be way too thick, that these things were not going to lay flat. But I was kind of committed to it. And so I was like, you know what, if I just fold them back and forth a million times and keep squishing it with my bone folder and my ruler, then maybe it will eventually lay flat. But it didn't happen. Eventually what I realized is that I made a spring. Not only was this thing not laying flat, it was very much three-dimensional. So I got some copy paper, which was going to be a lot thinner, and followed essentially that same process. So I cut strips of copy paper that were 4.8 centimeters high and scored it at the 3.5 centimeter line for however many photos I wanted to use. And I also, not the best at math, didn't really realize that I couldn't have an odd number. So my idea is this is our summer travel by the numbers. And I wanted to say, okay, 5 weddings, 3 vacations, 17 plane tickets, which can you seriously believe that? 17 plane tickets. I'm not joking. That's really why I wanted to make this layout, because the travel that we have done this summer is like staggering. It has not been healthy, but so I also realized that, okay, 17, there's no way that I can make an accordion with 17 photos. And same with like 39 nights away. There's no way. Even if you divide it by 2 and do half behind the 3 and half behind the 9, it's just not going to happen. But all of these numbers are odd numbers. So like, for example, 5 couples whom we love got married this summer, but I couldn't do I couldn't do an accordion with 5, because if I did, then the number would be facing the wrong way. I couldn't do 5 and I would either have an extra blank spot or the number would be backwards. So I realized all of these need to be even numbers, so I'm not going to have the right number of photos that actually exactly matches the number. And that was fine, because obviously, like I said, some of these numbers were way too big anyway, and so it's more just the story is more about how much travel we did over the summer. So these are the accordions coming together. I just was really, really happy with how they were turning out, although it was a little bit more work because instead of the photo strips already being, connected, I was having to cut each picture down and adhere it onto the copy paper to make sure that it, it would lay flat. So it kind of ended up taking longer than I thought, which basically meant that by the time it came to put the words on the page, to match these little number accordions, my initial plan was to stamp on this and to stamp out all the words, but I was like, you know what, I am just going to run this through my printer. That is a font called Quasimodo, and I believe it is size 65 font. And I really liked how that looked. It was obviously a lot cleaner than, I love like a messy stamp look. but at this point it was late, and it kind of reminded me of, I don't know if any of you guys got Highlights magazine, but they would, do those little stories with words and pictures, and that's totally what this made me think of. I was super happy that the kit had such a wide variety of different colors on the numbers because I had such a high concentration of threes. I was really grateful that all 3 threes could be different colors, and you didn't have any 2 that were the same. So now I was left with a little bit of a quandary because I was going to print the title and stamp the words. But now that I had printed the words, I realized I needed kind of some variety in what my title was going to be. So I used these alpha stickers that I've had in my stash. I believe they are Studio Calico, and kind of just playing with some different configurations of patterned paper. I loved all the patterned paper in this quarterly scrapbook kit, and it's so funny, sometimes I watch these back and I'm like, this would have looked fine, but I didn't like it in real time. I thought that the word didn't show up very clearly. So instead what I end up doing is stamping the word summer travel. So my title will be Summer Travel by the numbers. And when I'm stamping on a right-hand justified, I like to stamp backwards, but I always need to write out the word, otherwise I'll start spelling it wrong. So I'm stamping out using the Ali Edwards ink pad. The color is Rose Garden, just a great pink color, and stamping out the word Summer Travel. I have alpha stickers that say numbers, and then I decided to handwrite in yellow, kind of like a mustardy yellow that matches the layout, that says by the. So it says Summer Travel by the numbers. And then this was just one super small thing that bothered me. I really didn't like how the S and the 5 lined up. So I was like, I need something to break up this line, and this was perfect to use the patterned paper that I didn't use for the title. I just thought this kind of tied it all together, and just cut it in a little arrow shape. So there's a strip at the top, strip at the bottom, and then I thought it just needed a black line under it to sort of differentiate it from the rest of the page. So that is it. That's the whole layout. I was super excited with how the little accordions turned out. I thought it was so fun. It was really fun to put together, and it's nice to have some interactive elements. I don't usually put those in my regular memory keeping. I usually kind of save those for December daily and that kind of thing. So this was really fun. I hope that you guys liked it. This is part of a hop, an Instagram hop, but also a YouTube hop that the Ali Edwards brand ambassadors put together. So be sure to check out all of the other videos for the quarterly scrapbook kit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.